In 2003, with collaboration with Tezuka Productions and co-authored by Takashi Nagasaki, Naoki Urasawa created Pluto. And up around 2 weeks ago, when I decided to finally read it, I had no idea that it wasn't actually an original story. To be specific, it is a dramatic reimagining of the 1964 Astroboy story arc, The Greatest Robot on Earth. For me, Astroboy has always been one of those instantly recognizable characters, and not just because of the 2009 CGI animated movie.
Huh?
What?
I watched quite a few episodes of the 2003 series, and Astroboy just became a part of life. He was like Sonic or Mario or Crash or Buzz. If I saw him, I'd be like, oh, that's Astroboy. And he's just one of the many characters from the mind of Osamu Tezuka, which probably influenced your favorite mangaka directly or indirectly. First anime I ever watched was Kimba the White Lion on a car ride when I was like 5. Did I know it was anime? No. Did I like it? Yes. And the same applied with Astro Boy. When I found out that Astro Boy was technically an anime, and in fact made by the same person as Kimba the White Lion, it was like that time I was called out for a reading evaluation, and I chose a book on Pele to read because I really liked football. When I turned to the last page and saw a picture of him, I remember turning up to my teacher in disbelief and audibly yelling, wait, Pele was black? I couldn't believe it. I thought that anyone that was good at anything, and anything that is good, was created by a white man. Anyways, my racial prejudices aside, the hands Tezuka has in the creation and current state of manga and anime cannot be understated in any extent. But is The Greatest Robot on Earth any good? Well, short answer, yes. Something you gotta keep in mind is while much of children's media can be enjoyed by anyone at any age, Astro Boy was targeted at elementary school boys in the 50s and 60s. Superheroes and super cool robots have been existent in the minds of elementary school children since the dawn of time. So it isn't exactly the most coherent piece, but honestly, I had a lot of fun reading it. And if that isn't meeting your quota for a children's book, I don't know what is. It's about a sultan whose name I dare not pronounce, tasking his one doctor with making a robot named Pluto. Pluto's job is simple: kill the 7 greatest robots in the world and become the single greatest robot in the world. Mega Man, Proto Man, Roy Batty, Cosmos, Brainiac, Jarvis, Optimus Prime. Can they beat Pluto though? Well, they'll probably do better than his first opponent, which was Mont Blanc, a Swiss robot that was basically a forestier. Forestier? Is that a thing? The scene basically plays out like this. Pluto shows up and it goes, hey, are you Mont Blanc with the 100,000 horsepower? And Mont Blanc's like, yeah, except I got 135 horsepower. And Pluto's like, all right, cool. Then he just straight up kills him. This takes place within 7 panels, and I love it. When I first read it, I had to stop for a little second because it was just so, I wouldn't say jarring, but surprising to just see it right out of nowhere. Like, Mont Blanc just got wrecked. And quite frankly, the entire manga kind of works that way. And I don't hate it. After Mont Blanc, Pluto has 6 more of the greatest robots in the world to fight. North number 2, Hercules, Epsilon, Geschicht? I don't know how to pronounce it. Brando, and of course, the mighty Atom, or as we know him, Astro Boy. Which brings me to my next favorite scene. Pluto goes to fight Astro Boy next. Alright, it's their first of many fights in the arc. Despite Astro trying his best and even unleashing the butt cheek AKs, Astro Boy just cannot surpass Pluto's Black Air Force energy. And Professor Ochanomizu basically tells him, oh wow, did I just not touch his origin story? Okay, this one kid named Tobio got isekai'd, right? Dead. Dunzo. Dr. Tenma creates Astro Boy, basically revives his son as a robot. Doesn't really like him all that much. Astro Boy ended up in a circus somehow, and then he was rescued by Professor Ochanomizu, who's kind of like his dad / grandpa. Okay, we're good. Professor Ochanomizu tells Pluto to just screw off, and Pluto's like, alright, but you're gonna have to fight me one day, and just walks away. And despite Astro Boy really wanting to fight him, Professor Ochanomizu's like, no, you'll get your ass kicked. And Astro Boy's like, fine, I won't chase after him. Now, his own sister, Uran, or Urane? Wait a minute. Saying it out loud now makes me realize that it's probably Urane, like uranium, or Uranus, or Uranus. If it's Uranus, does that mean that her name is pronounced Urine? We're gonna go with Urane right now. Urane basically asks Astro, like, yo, why did you retreat? She's like, I got it. I bet it's because you're scared. He doesn't even say anything. The next panel is her going, "You're a pussy, I hate you." But that's about all the clownery I have to give, because quite frankly, after this section, it just like spikes in quality. I don't know, I can't explain it. The North number 2 fight was like really interesting, but then as it goes on, things get really complicated. Basically, after meeting Urain, Pluto starts fighting his own conscience. Or rather, he starts to gain one. Initially, his reasoning for why he's doing all this crazy stuff is like, I am a robot that has been ordered to fight. But as it goes on, the more and more he repeats it, the less and less he believes it, and the more and more sad you feel for him. Pluto isn't actually a bad robot. He was just made with the purpose of hurting people, and thus, as a result, he can't believe that he can do any good. Another highlight for me is Epsilon. He initially tells Hercules, hey, we should fight Pluto together. And Hercules is like, bro, are you a coward? I'm gonna fight him myself, bruh. Spoiler alert, Hercules dies. Epsilon's quote-unquote cowardice isn't really cowardice. He just wants to spend as much time with the people he loves as possible. But it quickly turns to guilt as Hercules dies, and then Epsilon tries to kill Pluto in a sleazy way. And then this guilt works as a motivator for his eventual fight with Pluto, and meets his end by Pluto's hand protecting a child, telling Pluto to stop his attack. I don't know if that was intended, but that is good writing. The final climactic battle with Pluto is a lot of fun. It's a battle to the death with twists, turns, and a giant volcano, including a final redeeming act by Pluto to save the world itself. What more could you want? The art, meanwhile, is the definition of robotic charm. I wouldn't mind having Pluto as a plushie, or any of these characters. Like Gesik's nipple guns, or Epsilon's antenna, Hercules' entire structure. They just look really nice and sleek. Take notes. Nothing wrong with simple when you do it right. The manga is also really easy to read. You can tell who's who, where's where, and what's happening very quickly, which only adds to its appeal. Overall, Greatest Robot on Earth was a good read. Its plot and main theme can be summed up by the end conversation between Astroboy and Professor Ochanomizu, where Astroboy asks, how come robots fight each other when they don't really hate each other? And Professor Ochanomizu replies him, I don't know, maybe because humans make them do it. Then Astroboy looks to the stars, thinking about all the robots that died over the course of this story arc, wishing for a world where robots never have to fight each other again, holding on to the antlers of one of his former enemies, almost as if it's a sign of loss and hope, one that becomes a symbol of terror, loss, hate, and death as it looms over Mont Blanc's decapitated head in the first chapter of Naoki Urasawa's Pluto.